possible. Anything's possible in this.
Little wrench.
Yeah, that's kind of a combination wrench. You can put a glow plug in with this end, and then there's 3 different other wrench sizes. This is the glow plug size. There's a couple of glow plugs that carries glow plugs too.
Yes.
You have a spare reel handy. Good little unit.
How do these retracts work here? Let me take a close up of that.
Oh, okay. They're
That's kind of interesting.
air operated.
Really?
There's a little air cylinder. You can see the end of the cylinder there.
Yeah.
And there's 2 little air bottles inside the airplane. And plumbing, just like this is the fill plumbing to fill the air bottle. And then the plumbing is just like hydraulic lines. There's 2 lines, 1 to each end of the cylinder. And there's a control valve. It's just like a hydraulic control valve. And the servo operates the control valve. Just like putting a cultivator up or down or whatever. The real airplanes have hydraulic, of course.
Yes. Amazing. It does
And it's
the job.
fairly reliable, and it's locked. If you see, the cylinder comes to the end of its travel, and it locks the gear against that little bar there. And it's same when it goes up, it locks in the up position.
And it's so neat when this goes down, it's all covered in.
Right, yeah.
You know.
Basically the same as the real airplane.
Okay. Hey, the sun's coming out.
Yeah, that's good. It keeps coming. Ready to sit on its own feet.
I'm not sure if I asked you what this is.
Pardon me?
What is the plane?
That's a Supermarine Spitfire, World War II. It's a Spitfire Mark 9. Just, it's not the Battle of Britain type, but just a couple of years later. Probably was used about 1943. This one here it's a paint scheme of a particular squadron in England.
Very good. Okay. Good luck with your thing.
On the start area, taxiing out to the takeoff position now. Some of my favorite airplanes in the whole universe. I absolutely adore World War II heavy metal Warbirds, and that's what we have taxiing out right now. On the far side, an all silver with a little bit of blue trim. That is a P-51 Mustang. It's a 1/5 scale airplane. Ken Kellenuk is the builder and flyer of that aircraft. The aircraft is painted to emulate or to be a copy of an aircraft that flew with the City of Winnipeg Squadron, 402 City of Winnipeg Squadron. On this side of the takeoff area, we have Mr. Ron Johnson from Churchbridge, Saskatchewan, flying a Mark 9 Spitfire. Both these aircraft 1/5 scale, and as you can see, airborne. There goes the landing gear. The P-51 is powered by a 41cc chainsaw motor. It is a 1/5 scale aircraft. Ron's aircraft is powered by a 25cc model aviation engine. That's the Mark 9 Spitfire. The Mark 9 Spitfire, both these aircraft, the full-size airplanes, powered by that famous 12-cylinder Rolls-Royce V12 engine. On the low-level pass, here comes the Airshow pass from Rod Johnson Spitfire way down low, and here comes Ken Kellenuk, not to be outdone, taking that Mustang low and dirty down in the grass. Victory roll from the Spitfire. Here comes the Mustang and his big victory roll off the end of that low pass. The Supermarine Spitfire was designed off of a racer that had been used in the Schneider Cup races back in the 1920s. R.J. Mitchell designed the aircraft, and it, as everyone knows, during World War II, the Spitfire was the savior of England in the Battle of Britain. The P-51 Mustang was designed during the war, later part of the war, as an escort aircraft. The original plan was to have North American Aviation build P-40 Warhawks, but Dutch Kittelberg, the guy that owned North American, said we have a better design in a new aircraft called the Mustang. And so the Brits said, well, I'll tell you what, if you can build the airplane in 4 months, if you can get the airplane in the air in 4 months, we'll take it. In 118 days, they took that Mustang from a drawing to a complete aircraft sitting on the runway. The problem was the original engine was down a lot on horsepower, so when it was shipped to England, the Brits thought, well, we might have problems keeping up with the supply of Allison engines, so what they did then was they mated a Spitfire motor onto the Mustang. And the rest, as they say, is history. The Mustang went on to be the most popular airplane and probably one of the most efficient airplanes in World War II. And over here comes Ron Johnson, pedal to the metal with that Mark 9 Spitfire. Mark 9 Spitfire was the first Spitfire with 4-bladed prop. Actually went out after the Focke-Wulf aircraft. Oh yeah. Beautiful aircraft, both of them. Scale models, 1/5 scale models of the full-size airplanes, approximately 84 inches across. Ken has his airplane down. Looks like he's throttled back, gears down, flaps are down. On final approach. That's a little long, but he's down. And he's not in the trees. No, sirree, Bob, Ken Kellenick. Meanwhile, high overhead, the gears down and locked on the Mark 9 Spitfire as Ron Johnson takes his aircraft around on the downwind leg of his approach and landing. On final approach now, Ron Johnson flying that Mark 9 Spitfire. Wheels are down, airplane is down, and oh, nice rollout, easy. Oh, Ronnie, you're in the weed. Oh. That's okay, Ron. Any landing you can walk away from is a good landing. The aircraft on the line is one of the biggest airplanes we have out here this afternoon. This aircraft is very familiar to people around the city of Winnipeg because these Hercules airplanes are stationed at the CFP Winnipeg. This airplane is, we'll try and get the information for you. This aircraft that you're looking at now is a copy of a C-130 Hercules aircraft. Steve Sauchuk at the controls of the airplane. Into the air it goes. This airplane is 20 feet across. That is a big airplane. The tail on the airplane is almost 6 feet tall. It is flown by 4 Poulin Weed Whacker engines, and they're all gas engines, 20 cc's. 3. Oh, do we have 3 and 1 stopped? Okay. All right, stay above the trees, Steve. This is a very large airplane to be around having a little trouble with one engine going. Steve is struggling, as you can see, to keep the aircraft running. And he's going to get down over the trees. And oh yeah, there we go. Number 2 engine looks like it lost a little fire. And Steve is now very wisely deciding to bring that big C-130 back down to the runway. Dennis Ward built this airplane. You're right, Dennis. There's not an over amount of power, is there? You need all 4 churning before that thing's going to get airborne. E6 Texan, but in Canada we call them Harvards. These things, they say if you can fly a Harvard, you can fly just about anything. A friend of mine has a Hawker Hurricane fighter plane, a full-size aircraft that he's restored. He also has a Harvard. He said when he got into the Hurricane, it was like anticlimactic because the Harvard was such an animal to fly. The Hurricane was a piece of cake. That is Ken Kellenick out of Winnipeg flying that airplane. Art Say, our tow plane pilot from Saskatoon. These 2 big yellow Harvards up there flying. These are scale models now, 1/6 scale replicas of the full-size Harvard airplane that were used as advanced trainers to get fighter pilots into the Battle of Britain and just about everywhere else that they flew, right on through to the 60s. And as you can see, they painted them yellow so you could see them. From right to left, down low, here comes Art Say, following and chasing from behind. Ken Kellenick coming down, both of these Harvards, pedal to the metal. Yeah, they used to say nothing will turn aviation fuel into noise like a Harvard. Chandelle turn now, both aircraft spinning around, coming back into the center of the show area. You guys be careful up there. Art Say down low, Ken Kellenick up high. As both these aircraft come across, they have that beautiful beer can on a shingle look to them. That's typical of Harvards. Big old round engine airplane, 1,340 cubic inches, 650 horsepower. And anyone who ever remembers farming anywhere near an airbase where these things were can remember these things sneaking up on you while you were doing summer follow. Takes a good pilot to get him in the air. Takes a better pilot to make him land right. Ken's the first one across the line. Down. Oh, nice landing. Aircraft now, gear down and locked, Art say. And his RCAF squadron harbored. Whoop, easy Art. Yeah, better discretion being the better part of valor. He's going to try that one again. Ken's taxiing his aircraft in as Art makes the go round. The fellow, remember I told you, that had the Hawker Hurricane also has a Harvard airplane, and I talked to him one time about it, and I said, so when do you relax with the Harvard? He says, when you shut the switch off. He says, you fly him right to the parking spot. You take it easy now, Art. Be nice. Nope. One more heavy metal Warbird. Jeff Esslinger out of Winnipeg, Manitoba, bringing out a Corsair aircraft. This aircraft is a Navy airplane, flew off carriers during World War II, and this particular airplane has a Canadian connection in that it is a scale model of the last Canadian pilot to be awarded the Victoria Cross. Hampton Gray was his name. And Hammy Gray's aircraft is depicted here in model form in the 86-inch, 26-pound, 50cc chainsaw motored rendition of the F4U Corsair. Jeff Esslinger at the controls. Here he comes off that high-speed pass. Oh, yeah. Now, you notice how the wing is bent down in kind of a V? The reason for that is the airplane was the first airplane with a 2,800 cubic inch Pratt & Whitney engine. Had a couple of thousand horsepower, and in order to harness a couple of thousand horsepower, they had to put a 14-foot propeller on it. 14-foot propeller meant that the landing gear was long, really long. Long landing gear, you can't pound them onto an aircraft carrier. Oh, beautiful, Jeff. Nice victory roll from that Corsair. So in order to shorten up the length of the landing gear so that when they pounded them down on the aircraft carrier, they didn't break the wheels off, they bent the wing down to shorten the landing gear up by a couple of feet. And that's where this thing came from. That's the most beautiful airplane. I just think that very distinctive dihedral on that wing makes the Corsair instantly recognizable. Now, they tell me that during the war, the oil cooler inlets right at the wing root of that airplane also used to whistle when the airplane would come at you. The Japanese actually called the airplane whistling death. They said that by the time you heard the airplane, it was all over. Hampton Gray was awarded the Victoria Cross right at the very end of the war for pressing home an attack on a Japanese destroyer, even though his airplane was on fire. He pressed home the last attack against the destroyer. And I think it was about 2 years ago, somebody from Canada went back to that harbor, and they believe they've located the wreckage of Hampton Gray's aircraft down in the bottom of the bay. So there is a project going whereby they're going to try and recover Hammy Gray's aircraft. And this is a scale model of that airplane flying with the Royal Navy. Beautiful. Oh, yeah. Victory roll. I love that. Jeff takes the airplane down. Now he's got the landing gear down and locked. He takes her downwind. And believe me, this is where it gets touchy, trying to get her down in one piece. Now on a carrier, you'd have a hook to slow the airplane down, but here, all we got is the tall grass at the end of the runway. Jeff Esslinger, ladies and gentlemen, flying a copy of Hampton Gray's Corsair aircraft.